No. I want to drain the battery. Got the headlights off. Okay. Alright everybody, welcome back to the West Coast. It has finally stopped raining. The farm has been set up. Hopefully we will not have to have another restart. I know there's still supposed to be a map optimization update come out, but from what I've heard, that's gonna not affect anything major. Shouldn't have to have a restart again. Hey Dutchman, how you doing, man? I'll go ahead and explain what I did. I try to do that before I do any time for play. Well, first thing I did was sell majority of the equipment. Of course, I kept the harvester. I didn't change it this time. Sold all the other tractors. The only tractor I have right now, got me a Massey 7726. So it's going to be my workhorse right off the bat. I did keep the water tanker so that I can do my fruit trees. I picked up that little horse fertilizer spreader. Let's see what else we kept. I went with a different tipper, paying a little tribute to the UK since that's where we're at. Kept the beller and the wrapper so that maybe we can make some a little bit of coin off of some silage bales at a later time. Kept the Pronto that it started us with. Kept the Amazon cultivator that it started us with, and upgraded the plow from the Amazon to the Limpkin. But I did expand the farm. I went ahead and got our fruit trees put up here. We got 12. And we'll take a look at the map. And as you can see, we now, after selling all the equipment and only purchasing the Massey, come on down here. We purchased the Massey. Oh God, change that color back. We purchased a pickup, kept that. Yes, I had a vanity purchase. I have to have a lawnmower. Traded our trailer out. Got the 10,000 fertilizer spreader from Horsch. The bell spike in the front end. The front end attachment is going to be a thing I'm probably going to have to work with, or I'll have to sell it and buy the bigger one because I got the wrong size, but I kept it to save money. And purchasing that plow, it left me with quite a good sum of money with only making those few purchases, and as you can see, getting rid of all the other equipment. I only have the equipment for the main farm. It left us with enough money to get every field that encircles our farm. So on day one of spring, we're starting with fields 17, 16, 15, 14, 5, 10, 11, and 12. Um, that's going to be our day one of spring starting point. Of course, we do still, we have the grass field over at the cows, the grass field over at the sheep, and I will do better about trying to remember the names of these farms. But happily, I am finally set up. And Nightbot is going crazy. Dear Lord. Nightbot, go away. Now maybe Nightbot will go away. But that's where it stands. And I have a solid week that I can just sit and goof off. It's one thing I do love about the Christmas season. I get a week off of work. I am overjoyed about that. And it looks like that British fog is going to be coming in. As a part of setup, I did take the liberty of going ahead and filling everything up. So it's just one less thing to worry about as I started the Let's Play. And the fog comes in just at the time you need to see your fertilizer spread. Well, can't beat that. bit of overlap there, but it'll be okay. Trying to find an angle where I can see, and the fog is not being helpful. Alright, there the line is. I didn't change my timing either. I'm going to play with timing. I usually play on real time. I'm going to change it up to 5x for those of y'all that keep up with that kind of stuff, to see if that makes the day cycle through in a normal amount of time. I do understand I may not be able to get all the work done, but that's part of the new challenge of it. That's part of seasons. I do have my seasons set up on, oh crap, wrong button. Do have seasons set up on a 3-day cycle. So yeah, maybe that 5 times gameplay will help the morning progress in such a way that the fog won't be here, but maybe just a little while. Honestly, I did not expect a fog. Not on day one. We're going to have to guesstimate it with the map. Okay. That should be field 5 fertilized. Maybe a little spot there. Alright, good deal. No, Dutchman, just using the stock season for UK. I guess to be more realistic, I should have used the whales. But there again, that's me not doing the research. Cut that volume back on me a little bit. That's me not doing my research. Would the Wells Geo be more map appropriate? I'll just go ahead and ask you. So I'm not really certain. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of fog, so I'm not going to attempt to do all these fields under fog. I hate to lose time, but it'll be what it'll be. Unfortunately, I don't have well, that's why I was hoping there wouldn't be fog on my early spring. Uh, Last weekend is when I started setting the map up. I broadcasted a little of that as I was running around with my head like a chicken with my head cut off. And it was a torrential downpour, and it only did that for about an hour, from about 6 to 7, and then it quit raining, and I thought, oh great, okay. So, that won't affect me plowing. It won't affect things I gotta do right off the bat. At least I didn't have to harvest or anything. And then I'd be dog. I had an hour of clear weather and boom, fog. Oh, this is not a good first day of spring. Because this probably will not burn off till 10:30 in the morning, somewhere in that neighborhood. Our ground temperature is, yeah, we couldn't plant anything if we needed to, yeah, except for grass. Guess I could take the time to try to build up the funds. Can haul off what I have, what you start with in the... We do start with stuff in the silos, don't we? Yeah. I could take that stuff off to sell, I guess. Maybe by the time I do that and return, maybe the fog will have cleared. We'll try that. Having to improvise this morning. Yeah, sure, wait, why not? And where are we taking our wheat? Is it worth the extra $7 per thousand to go to Frontier? Little Woolhope's not far. Well, we do have a fog delay, so I guess a nice little leisurely ride. As long as my studying of the map's not incorrect, Frontier should be at the bottom of the map, right? Yeah, okay. Some things never change. One of these days they're gonna move that key fob and ignition away from that knee so that when I get into the tractor I quit bumping it and cutting the tractor off. Yeah, I was complaining about the fog, but I guess that would be par for the course. It is on the coast. So with all that extra moisture and the changing of the seasons, fog would be more than likely rolling in. Caution's on. Nothing coming around the curve. Can't see anything coming off the hill. A little light traffic. Now that's something else I've noticed. I've been goofing around on my Goldcrest Valley map with the Seasons mod, sort of, you know, trying to get used to it before starting this, because I wanted to do a, you know, a real good serious Let's Play on this map, and I wanted to try to do it justice. Lost my train of thought. Oh, and I have noticed, yeah, Seasons affects so much in game. It affects the amount of traffic you'll see on roads. It affects the pedestrians. I mean, it's like having a completely new game. It's like having a completely new sequel to a game that you like, where the developers didn't go crazy and change all the button setups. Because that's the one thing I hate about software companies and developers is that, you know, I understand when you add new features you might need to add new button combinations, but why, when you have so many people playing the game that are used to, okay, this is this and this is that and this is this, these are all basic things that you're going to do in game, why change it? I never understood that. Did come in the right side, didn't I? I know it doesn't matter, but going by signage, yeah. That doesn't line you up to go on the scale, though. Oh well. Guess we'll do a switch over. This is how you would do it. Nothing to sneeze at. $4,100. Don't have the right angle to read it out the mirror. Doggone it. 13,666. The empty weight. And again, he hits the key getting in. Okay, I admit it. That time I did it just for the pleasure of doing it, so I could say I hit the key with my knee again. Nice to see everything moving smoothly at the roundabout. I have noticed that the traffic sometimes has its problems down here at the roundabout. Many an accident to be had. Excuse me, sir. You need your headlights on. It's foggy. Looks like a bad morning. This reminds me of a bad morning in Skyrim. At least I'm not having to dodge arrows. Yeah, I've been catching what you've been putting up. I was gonna do New Holland on this, and I don't know. I just decided, well, I wanted to have to work toward an upgraded harvester. And I knew if I tried to start this map with the small New Holland, oh dear Jesus, it would have took forever. So that's what made me just stick with the Massey and just buy a matching tractor. I believe as we expand to some of the other farms, I will try to incorporate other things. I don't use a lot of Dutzfar or Dutzfars. So I figured I'd make at least one of the farms over there with, you know, center around one of those tractors. do probably a New Holland at another one. And I believe, I haven't really made my mind up, but I'm thinking probably gonna do Valtra for the cattle farm. I like the way this trailer just rolls the cover across. Take a look at prices for barley. Barley is going to Clifftop Farm. Clifftop Farm. That is, I'm going to check the map. I'm going to say that's the one down by the castle. Now let's check the map, see if I'm right. Yep. I had a feeling by the time Christmas got here, I would no longer be in the Christmas cheer that I was earlier. Just seems to be the way the weather works where I live. We had a little snowfall about 2 weeks back. What we call a dusting. Less than an inch. It was just enough to make everything look pretty. All the trees had snow in them, and all the grass was covered and looked real nice. Here we are now 2 weeks later, and temperatures outside are about 60 degrees plus. So it's like a late fall. And it just takes you right out of the mood of Christmas. Yeah, putting the feeder on the back of the man or the. Well, can it go on the Tetra too? Or either one, I guess. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice option, and a whole lot better than that that little trailer that comes with it. I mean, if it didn't come apart, I'm sure we'd all suffer through figuring out how to set it up in ways that it worked for us. But yeah, it makes everything a whole lot simpler and look a whole lot better when you can just sit it up on the back of the truck and go on about our business. And this is my first time ever coming down here to the sell point. Reconnaissance is required. Storage. Ugh, chickens. Oh yes, this is where our chickens are kept. Let's see if we've got an... Yeah, we've got an egg. We've got 2 eggs. I'm sorry, chickens, I'm just not for free range. I wish I were somewhere out of the way. Wait a minute. Ah. I presume this is a sell point. Okay. Oh, well that ain't bad then. Straight shot in. And then I assume probably this way would be better to loop right around. Yep, looks good. A little bit more storage down there. And most likely a bale sell point. Alright, good deal, good deal. Oh, cool. Alright, chicken. Move. Yes, yes. Scratch, scratch, peck, peck, run away. Personally, I think that windshield wiper mount for the back glass should be at the top. I need to call Massey. That's a design flaw. Because most backing up things with tractors and implements I mean, you can set it up to do the other way if room provides. I could have done it blind. Nah, got a fence line. No, I wouldn't have done it blindside. Oh well. Just a little truck driver griping. Let's go ahead and get this barley sold. It is going on 11 o'clock on the first day and the fog is still here. I may have to just suffer through it. I can at least get my fertilizing done today. That's what I'm hoping for. Wrong button. And twice in a row. Good deal. Really? Oh, that's right. Because that's a turn signal. That's a turn signal. It's not working. I've been opening and closing the top of this. I've been hitting the same button every time I do it. For some reason, yes. Oh. Duh. Lower corner. Switch back to the trailer. Duh. What an idiot. Shoot chickens. Ah, there it is. I see the break in the fog. It's dissipating. We got a trip into Frontier. We got a trip in down here to Clifftop Farms. And hopefully, by the time we make it back to the farm, it's gonna be fertilizing time. Good deal, good deal. I noticed at Little Woolhope Farm there is a slurry pit. I thought, well, it would be nice. It's full. It would be nice if I could use that slurry. I did check it out. I tested it. You can't. So just one of those things. You know, because Little Woolhope Farm has a lot of animals there. It's quite possibly a sell point for slurry. A hope and a prayer and a hit. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Yeah, let me get out of your way. You T-boned me good. That was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank goodness for Geico, I guess. Yeah. I'm going ahead and starting my wish list for SF19. Since I'm coming up on this hill, that's why I want to bring it up. First thing I want Giants to do is to make map creating tools so that modders that make awesome maps like this have easier time blending the hills. It's right there at the end of the bonnet or hood. Yeah, blow your horn, it doesn't matter to me. You have these nice natural rolling hills, but then it has to... There's no way of smoothing these lines, evidently. And it's not bad noticeable in tractors, but I have noticed that in certain situations, so shall we say. Is this one of our fields? No, because it's got a for sale sign in it. And that's not part of the walk trail, is it? I don't think so. Not that I'm seeing. Okay, well, I'm going to waste a tad bit of time. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, our nuggets. You can see a nugget right there. Nuggets are still on the map. Haven't touched them. Through the lights, make sure they're off. No, I'm so excited. I get to fertilize all of my fields now. I can see what I'm doing. But yes, certain low loaders I've been a truck driver now for it seems like forever. Most roads, I'm speaking only of the continental US, most roads are not going to give a low loader a grounding out effect starting up a hill or at the bottom of a hill, whichever direction you may be headed. You know, you're going to have to watch things like your clearances for railroad crossings and things of that nature. But most roads are, you know, for the lack of better terms, because of potholes and whatnot, they are smooth. And it's not the map maker's fault. There's too many maps that have those angles by too many of the great modders that we got. So I understand it's a giant issue. So that's on my wish list for FS19. I hope they figure out a way to correct that situation. And plus 900,000 other things that could just make the game more realistic. Do some spread now that we can see the glorious spread of this thing. We're just going to head straight down the field and see how wide. 34 or 36 meters? 36? Oh, that's pretty decent. That makes short work of a lot of fields. Oh, that's cheating, but oh well. I can ride the line of this field and shoot it across the fence into the other field. Oh, that is a wide spread. course, now I'm still holding out hope on FS17 that somebody will do a revamping of the Giants Farm Classic download pack from FS15. I get my hands on those tractors and I'm headed back to Old Stream. Because I am a sucker for those old classic tractors. Be honest with you, Dutchman, I have not even downloaded and checked that map out. Is it you're saying it's more of an old time setting? Small farm field? Oh, excuse me. I believe I'm developing a small head cold. I used to download every map when it came out just to at least go on it and check it out. I'm sort of cramped for space. That's another thing I wish Giants would do. How about not limiting me to the amount of my hard drive space that I can use for game saves, as far as maps and mods and things of that nature? How about letting me decide that if I want to use my terabyte hard drive to put a whole terabyte of stuff for the game on my PlayStation, how about letting me make that choice? Instead of having a file size that, you know, can only be up to this amount. I mean, I can understand the slot system, but I can't understand that. Like right now, with the amount of modded equipment, download equipment, you know, all the downloaded content, I don't have really room for a second map unless, you know, I want to do a uninstall and reinstall every time I switch maps. That's basically the pain that I'm suffering through right now. Come to think of it, I haven't seen anybody do a Let's Play for PS4 on that map either. If I'd seen somebody do a Let's Play, I'd at least have that to go by. But since you mentioned it and me thinking about it, I have not seen that map, period. Other than it being listed in the mod hub. You know, I've never seen any screenshots of it. I'll have to check out YouTube a little later. See what I can't find, see what it looks like. that could be the reason why. Oh, that's interesting. To actually start with animals. That's definitely a change. I'm really liking this spreader. I mean, I don't care one way or the other about it having tracks on it. That doesn't... I'm not a... wished I had one that had tracks on it type of person, you know. 6 to one person is half a dozen to somebody else. One of those type of scenarios. But as far as capacity, I'm liking it for the capacity. I haven't had to do a bunch of running back and forth for refill. And the spread width. Not going in there, but go ahead and get that gate out of the way. Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to check it out, and if you do it, I'll check that out too. That's usually how I get my first look at maps. Come to think of it, I don't even know if Mr. Seeley P put a map tour of that out. He's usually my go-to guy for seeing a PS4 map tour. Yeah, I appreciate the info. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Take a look at the screen. I know you're busy, but I want to make sure I'm not losing my mind. I'm looking back at the opening in the fence I just come through, or the hedge back there, and I'm seeing a gate. I didn't stop, get out of the tractor, and open a gate. The gate's closed from where I'm seeing it. Let's get out and go back. There's no gate. That's it's just an opening, because the gate was off of its hinges. I noticed that it was set over to the side. I thought, well, that's unusual. The gate's open. Okay, so it wasn't. Is it is it operatable? No. Okay, so it won't move. I wonder if anybody else has noticed that. Because we're looking at it, right? It's open, right? I'm walking through it. There's no collision. The gate's over here. Boom, it's a collision. Okay. Now, we're just going to switch to our tractor, and we look back, and you can see the gate over there is closed. That is interesting, mind-boggling, and I will make sure to never have that camera angle on that ever again, because that is confusing. Alright. It's the only mistake I have found on this map. That's okay. And right down here, I believe, is where you can get water for free. Yep. Many people I've seen do Let's Plays on that map, on this map. I've never seen anybody show, I guess I should say, I've never seen anybody show that they noticed that little bug of the gate there. That is cute and interesting, and made me think I was losing my old mind. I love the heel of this field, man. Right there in the center, just a nice little rise. Yeah, if it's a little small farm, it'd be an awesome pack, you know, to use the Massey pack on. Oh man, almost got it all in one whack. It's just weird. That is very dangerous. I gotta get the latch on this door fixed. I went around that corner a little too fast. Fell right out of the side of the tractor. Maybe I should wear my seatbelt. I haven't even been paying any attention, but this spreader is a triple threat. I've been operating on cruise, and I normally operate at about 20 kilometers an hour. So we have spread path being so wide is a plus. The capacity is awesome. And the speed at which you can spread. Turning this spreader on, activating it, whatever you want to call it, it didn't draw me back. Because normally you cut them on, even if you're set on cruise, it'll draw you back down to 14, 15, 12, whatever the operating speed is. So this thing is a triple threat. Distance of spread, capacity, and operating speed. I won't be doing it this first year of playthrough, but at the end of my first year, I will be plowing this grass field out so that it can be fertilized. Because I'm not going to fill the whole thing up with trees. That would be a nice steady income, but I'm not going to do that. But I will plow it up and replant it in grass so that it can be fertilized. Because right now it's not it didn't change any fertilizing state. So it's not like the black well, this map's that way too. I was going to say it's not like the black sheep fields that are already pre-plowed for grass, evidently. But all of the other grass fields on here seem to be already done that way. Except for this one. Interesting. Oh well. I will take care of that later in the season. I got too many fields that have to be plowed out right now to worry about redoing a grass field. I should be getting a lot of work done on this map this week. I'm happy about that. I got all kinds of free time. So I should be able to do at least an hour or two every day for the next 9 days. I won't know what to do with myself. I mean, I'll probably play longer than that, but I'll at least do an hour or 2 hour streams over the next, like I said, 9 days until New Year's Eve. This New Year's Day, I've got to leave back out. And then I will be back into my box of only getting to do a stream on a weekend. I was gonna make another vanity purchase and put a Christmas tree out there at the farmhouse out in the front yard, but I wasn't able to do so. I can't plant the Christmas tree because it sees it as it's not like a placeable fruit tree. It sees it as timber. With the amount of trees on the map, I don't know how many trees I'd have to cut down in order to place it. I am tempted to run off into one of the forests and cut down one tree and see if it'll let me plant a Christmas tree then. Because when I tried to put the Christmas tree up, that's the message it gave me. There's too many trees on the map. You'll have to first remove trees before planting new ones. I believe that's it. That can't be it, can it? Let's see, Carlos. Well, yes it is. That is it. All of them have their fertilizing. Uh, Hello, Jesus. Hola. Sorry, my Spanish is very, very, very bad. My Española is no bueno. Very spotty. But that got the first state of fertilizing all done. Good deal. Run this back up here to the farmyard. Park it up. And now we know this can be filled and do all the fields that I own around the farm so far and not run out. Excellent capacity. From everything I've read about the Seasons mod with the breakdown and everything else of tractors, we're gonna do our part, and as we use our equipment, I will be backing it up over here where I've created a wash station. So before we put this fertilizer spreader up, well, hold on. No, we're not close enough. Okay. Let's do this in some kind of order. There we go. We'll go ahead and spend the money to refill it. That was the one thing I did not keep track of. I did not keep up with how much it cost to fill it up the first time. I'll close the lid. Shut the tractor off. Because from what I've been reading, cleanliness also affects breakdowns on the Seasons. Don't know how true that is, but that's the rumor. So it don't take but a second before we take it around here to park it up. Go ahead and spray it off. Normally you wouldn't leave fertilizer in your spreader to store it, but since we're using our spreader to do all of our fertilizing, hold on, going to do it with the mirror, but I can't. The top of that spreader is too wide for me to use the mirror to back it in. Now we go to the chore that everybody just seems to hate doing. And I will probably be sick of doing it too by the time I get done. But hey, it has to be done. It's time to hook up the old plow. Head on out to the fields. Really? I backed it in there and I can't get it pulled out. I placed the jet wash after I backed that in there. I bet I took my swing away from myself. But that's what I've done. No, that's got it. I just didn't come out of there properly. Probably warped the axle on the plow. Well, life on a farm is kind of laid back. Ain't much an old country boy like me can hack. It's early to rise and early in the sight. I thank God I'm a country boy. Necrovarius! How you doing, bud? You have given me an enjoyable week of YouTube watching last week. You helped me out through a very grueling week, my friend. I appreciate that. Other people listen to podcasts. I listen to YouTube like it's a podcast. I really enjoy listening to your Seasons of Oblivion, man. It was very entertaining. It's one of those deals where I don't have to see the screen to know what's going on. And I knew last week was going to be the longest week of the year to me. It always is. The week before I go on vacation is just, I'm sure you can understand, most of the time when you're waiting for that time off, it just seems to never get there. And you've definitely helped me through that time. In a very entertaining way, too. Well, I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it so much that when I got home, I had to reload up Skyrim. So I had forgot about all the nice things I had been missing. Well, I've got my alerts cut on, bud. I will not be missing Season 3. Well, I'm glad that I've been of help, if you can consider that help. But it was definitely a joy to watch. I was surprised with how few views. Of course, I was watching it through the listening to it through the playlist. And I was shocked at the end of every night when I would park up. I drive a truck for a living, man. So, you know, finding something to listen to where I don't have to change the channel all the time, that's like a necessity. And I'd park up every night and I'd go back over everything I had listened to that day and would see that the views were down. I'm like, I just didn't get it. Seems like it should have had more views than what it had had. And I noticed the comments were like null. Of course, I'm used to that too. I started off doing editing and videos when I started this channel, and for a truck driver, that's just too time consuming. So I just started hitting that broadcast button and doing the live stream from the PS4. gives me something to do. I like meeting new people, talking to them in chat while I'm goofballing off, and if they're interested in the game I'm playing, hey, all that much better, right? Boy, you'd think a truck driver would be able to back up a stupid tractor with a plow behind it. There we go. That offset axle back there, it's mind-boggling every once in a while. I definitely cannot do what you do, though, Necrovarius. There's no doubt. Games like that, when I play them, I get so enthralled in the role-playing aspect of it. I wouldn't dare try to record and put something up like that. I can do something simple, like this farming game, and I've got a new hunting game that I'm tinkering around with that I can do, but I don't think I could take on the undertaking of doing like a Skyrim or an Oblivion. I would totally forget about the viewer. There's no telling what I may say. At least if I keep to my farming game and broadcasting this, I don't have to worry about dodging arrows, ducking swords. Or depending on the game you play in, maybe trying to duck behind something to keep from being shot. Yeah, I started listening to the very first episode of Oxenfree. I was fixing to call it Oxygen Free. I had to check my speech. But yeah, I started it. As a matter of fact, I started it Friday morning around 4 o'clock, I think. I didn't get far, excuse me, I didn't get very far into it, but yeah, it is a very dialogue-y game. I can tell that from the get-go. I didn't have far to go that morning to get the rest of the way into the house. I maybe got 10 minutes into the video, I want to say. You were being very quiet. And I'm like, well, they're not letting you get a word in edgewise, so, you know, I can understand that. But yeah, it's definitely a good listen from what I've heard of it so far. It and oh, that Human Revolution game. I'm getting a kick out of listen. I was getting a kick out of listening to it too. Yes, sir. Owner operator, independent contractor. Or at least for the last 8 years, I'm an independent contractor for that long. My first 10 years, I did a company stint. Yeah, we're the last of the stagecoach drivers, is what I tell everybody. Cowboys are still out there riding the range and making beef, but us stagecoach guys, we're still picking it up in one town and taking it to the next. We're just doing it in a whole lot better style. We don't have to get as much dust in our face anymore. I tell you what you can do, man. Every time you're driving to and from work or going anywhere, you pass by a Honda. Let's see, you pass by a Honda or a Hyundai. You can go, hey, I know a guy that totes their parts. At least that's what I've been doing the last 3 years. I've got me a nice little setup. It gives me some it gives me good time off, good pay. Took me years to get that kind of setup, but you know, it's well worth it. I don't see a future right now without transportation being involved. Public, private transportation, I guess that's what you should say. There's always going to be cars for the next few years anyway. So I threw my hat in that ring. Call it job security. Oh Lord, it's almost noon. Yeah, there's no doubt. People got places to go. Whether it be for business or pleasure. There has to be a way to get there. Oh yeah, sure, man. I'm based out of Alabama. Just a small town country boy. See, if you're in the airline industry. Well, okay, let's see, airline industry. Maybe airports. We don't have, well, no, wait a minute. Yeah, Huntsville. I believe Huntsville is an international airport now. We're within an hour of Huntsville and an hour of Birmingham, to give you a few cities, you know, in reasonable proximity. I live in a town so small we don't even have a dot on the map. Northern Minnesota. I have to laugh about that. Northern Minnesota, hey? Oh. I have not been to Minnesota in years. Used to go to Minneapolis. There my speech impediment is. I used to go to the Twins a lot. You know what I'm talking about. I bet it's been a good 8 to 10 years since I've been up there to the Mall of America. I took a weekend off up at the Twins one time just so I could go to the Mall of America. You know, one of those things that you just try to do so you can go, hey, I've been there. I guess y'all guys have already been having snow up that way, haven't you? Yeah, I figured as much. Well, I reckon we've already reached our snowfall accumulation for the year. We got a big whopping 1/4 of an inch about 2 weekends ago, about 2 weeks ago. It lasted for maybe, it stayed on the ground for maybe a day and a half, 2 days at the most, in shadowed spots. And now we're back to 60-degree days for Christmas. You know, makes it a whole lot easier to sip the margaritas out by the pool while you're unwrapping gifts at the Christmas tree. Oh my good man, I don't know how long you're going to stay in here, but now that I've got you here, let me ask, what was the brand of that vodka again? The Oh, what was it? Grapefruit and jalapeno, I think's what you said it was. Ah, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to pick me up some of that this week. I want to try it out. It just sounds like something so unusual, you know, from what I've heard of, that I'm like, I gotta try that. That's, I just gotta see what the flavor is gonna be like. Now let's check the apple bean. I've never been a one for bean. I like my vodka. I like sipping on Jameson. But me, Jim, and Jack just never have got along all that well. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all, Nick. Guys, as the hours of daylight are dwindling away here on the West Coast, I'm gonna cut the stream short. get it wrapped up. We'll have to finish plowing our fields out either later this afternoon. If not, we'll get back in here and get going maybe first thing in the morning before everything gets busy. But 'tis the busy season, as we all know. So from here at Rednecks Gaming, JR wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas and a happy holidays. And we'll park this Massey right here so that it'll be here when we get back. Necavarius, man, it was great to meet you. Dutchman, appreciate you stopping by. Jesus, I saw you in there. If you're still there, hope you have a Merry Christmas. We'll catch y'all on the next stream.